deciding to your life up. Rick, bro, I'm gonna your life.
Rick Ross spent years acting like he didn't care, but his baby mama just spilled the real tea on why he's actually scared of 50 Cent, and trust it's way worse than anyone ever thought. The same dude who built his empire off being a boss has apparently been losing sleep over the one person who can't shake. And when Ross finally hit back, it wasn't just about pride, it was about survival. The way 50 took him down piece by piece, well, have you wondering how Ross even managed to keep his head up? It all kicked off with just one look, yep, a look, one glance at the 2008 BET Awards, and suddenly Rick Ross had a serious problem with 50 Cent. But 50, he didn't even know what was popping off later. He even said he didn't remember seeing Ross that night, but Ross, he took it as straight up disrespect, and in hip-hop disrespect, that's basically declaring war. Or 50, they've had a long-standing beef for years, and I think Rick Ross beef is the one beef that 50 will never let go of. Rick Ross was living his best life at the top of his game, feeling like nothing could touch him. He had 2 platinum albums and was locking down his spot as the ultimate rap boss, but when he crossed paths with 50 Cent at the BET Awards, something clicked, just not in the right way. Maybe it was paranoia, or maybe he was just looking for some clout. Either way, Ross chose to take shots at one of the most savage figures in hip-hop, and let's be honest, that decision flipped his whole career upside down. The kicker, 50 Cent didn't even remember spotting Rick Ross that night. Yeah, we're talking next level petty here, but Ross took that as a sign to start swinging, and he had no clue who he was up against. Ross thought he could stir up some drama and get his name buzzing alongside one of the biggest names in rap, but what he didn't expect, 50 Cent was about to drop a bomb that would change everything. Is there anything about Ross in his career that you'd have any respect for? Oh no, there's nothing there, there's nothing there. I never wanted to. Ross didn't just throw a little shade in an interview, nah, he went straight for the jugular with mafia music on that track. Ross came at 50 hard, dropping a not-so-subtle line about the house fire that almost took out 50's baby mama and their son. He wasn't holding back, taking the beef to a whole new level. At first it might sound like regular rap trash talk, but everybody knew what Ross really saying. He was throwing dirt on a situation that 50 had already been accused of being behind. 50's ex, Sheenik, was Tompkins, even publicly pointed the finger at him for the fire that burned down the whole house with 6 people inside. Ross took full advantage of that drama, and it didn't take long for 50 to clap back. But Ross didn't just stop with the diss track. He started making wild claims about his spot at the top of hip-hop, acting like he'd already won the battle before it even kicked off. But if there's one thing 50 Cent knows how to do, it's dragging rap beef into personal territory. 50 wasn't about to drop just another diss track. He was ready to take apart Rick Ross's whole public image. That's when he started digging, and what he uncovered changed the whole game. 50 Cent came for Ross's neck, exposing his past as a correctional officer, something that completely wrecked his image as a street certified boss. Ross had built his whole brand on being the kingpin, the hustler who made it out the struggle, but 50 had the receipts. Photos of Ross in his correctional officer uniform spread like wildfire. 50 made sure the world knew that the man who rapped about moving weight was really out here pushing prison paperwork. And he didn't stop there. 50 went straight to the source, Rick Ross's own baby mama, Tia Kemp, and let's just say she had a lot to say. Tia sat down with 50 and spilled all the dirty details about Ross's life that nobody saw coming. Say, but it is a Minetti is uncanny like this, I feel, is everybody's ought to eat. According to Tia, Ross wasn't the boss he portrayed himself to be. She exposed how he was out here leasing cars, renting jewelry, and living a life that was far from the lavish lifestyle he rapped about. The image he sold in his lyrics didn't line up with the reality of what was going on behind the scenes. Embarrassing to me, you know, because as you listen to these rap, you would definitely believe him, but I mean, it was surprising that he would sit there and say he spends $200 on food, $300 a month on clothes his chayized. But that wasn't even the worst part. 50 took it a whole step further. You don't know where the money came from to put a down payment on $1 million home, and you know it's just sad, you know, and I just want to prove the facts today here on It's All Tea. Even backed up the rumors about Ross being a correctional officer, a baby mother who's currently working as AC girl. He has a daughter by Brooke. Right there, can you see that? This is like the do, this is like where you can find really exclusive horse. Then 50 did what Ross couldn't. He took Tia on a shopping spree and spoiled her like crazy, and I asked him about it. Of course he denied it, which his sister confirmed it and told me that he was a collection officer, and then took Ross's own son On a trip to Vegas with Floyd Mayweather snapping pictures of them living it up together, Ross, he was quiet as hell. There was nothing he could do to take it back. The internet had already taken off with it, and 50 just locked in one of the most disrespectful moves in hip-hop beef history. But then 50 slipped up. He took things too far when he dropped a tape featuring one of Ross's baby mamas, Lonia Leviston. Not only did that backfire, but it cost him a whopping $5 million when she sued him for emotional distress. That lawsuit hit 50 hard, so hard that he had to file for bankruptcy for the first time in this whole beef. 50 actually took an L, but Ross, he kept pushing music, acting like nothing happened, and surprisingly fans didn't seem to care too much about the Officer Ricky story anymore. Fast forward, and just when we thought the beef was over, Tia KM came through letting us know she wasn't done. She hopped on Instagram Live and told the world that Rick Ross is still shook by 50 Cent. Why? Because 50 knows too much. Tia didn't hold back. She claimed Ross had some deep dark secrets he's been trying to bury. She even hinted that he might be mixed up in something way bigger than just rat beef. Things got even messier when some throwback Tia Payek started making the rounds, specifically her 2009 Smooth magazine cover shoot. Now baby mama third traps ain't nothing new, but what made these PC kiss extra messy, it wasn't just who she was posing for, it was who she was posing with. 50 Cent, Ross's longtime rival, casually snapping shots for Rick Ross's baby mama like it was his personal art project. In the now viral cover shot, Tia is perched right above 50, rocking nothing but some lacy black panties, a sparkly sheer top, and bright red heels while he's laid out on the floor, camera in hand, aiming it right at her. And if that wasn't shady enough, the Smooth magazine subheading made it even pettier. Where's the beef? Guest editor 50 Cent introduces Rick Ross's baby mama Tia. Not only did 50 help Tia land her little magazine moment, but he made sure Ross knew exactly who was behind it. Fast forward to today, and these two are still throwing shots at each other. The latest move, Rick Ross linked up with Big Meech after his release from prison, a move that had 50 heated, especially since he's the executive series to 50. That was the ultimate betrayal. He hopped on Instagram, posted a giant rat, and captioned it, "I think I'm Big Meech." That wasn't even the worst part. In the caption, 50 made it clear that Meech made the biggest mistake by distancing himself from one key person, Tammy Cowens. If you're wondering who, trust me, you're not alone. Tammy was Meech's assistant and business partner back in the day, but plot twist, she allegedly flipped and became an FBI informant. And just to add some more fuel to the fire, Ross jumped in laughing at how pressed 50 was over Meech snapping a picture with him. The drama just doesn't stop, and if there's one person who loves clowning Ross just as much as 50, it's Tia. She straight up threw Ross into the mess with Diddy's wild party scandal, claiming he was caught up in the same shady business that got Diddy slapped with those federal trafficking charges. Took a picture with R.I. Rossi like a put your back against the wall and just slide down. She straight up told Ross to go check on his boy, throwing major shade at their past party scenes and that odd little social media romance they had going on. Did party I'm and then ask another thing, when is we going to see you over there with Sino? And this ain't even the first time she put him on blast. Tia hopped on Instagram Live straight up roasting Ross for staying silent about Diddy's mess hug. Like I said, he was on his nets. Oh, you and K it big F, see you're fat, go out there, cut your yard, trying to go viral like Will with no shoes on. Boy, we know goddamn you ain't cutting nothing. Tia wasn't just out here running her mouth though, she pulled up with receipts and had no problem name dropping. Be scared now, no Diddy, how you scared now, huh? I know y'all on them tapes freaky, I know you 10ch half, it's time to show them CHS, now I ain't going to let off. Tia took it a step further, accuse Rose himself of being caught up and putting hits on folks. We going see all this tea right here. Renee, say you want to stay keeping up. We F to talk about some real. Her next move, blowing the whistle and sending the feds straight to his front door. And then things took a real dark turn. Kemp brought up something that had everybody shook, a murder she dropped Miss Carol, hinting that Ross might have some kind of connection to her tragic death. Over there paying people to put this out and running off with his money, and it's getting back to me, so now I'm FS the F over there to y'all. Mother, see you had the right. If you're sitting here wondering who Miss Carol is, Kim claimed she was murdered right after leaving her mama's house, and the whole mess was somehow tied to Ross and his crew. She even brought up a man who got shot right in front of Black House, hinting at yet another link to Rose Circle. Talk about Miss Carol, y'all know who Miss Carol is, you know that's behind your brother I'm F to make sure her family sue why whole estate cause that case is not closed. Then on an episode of Carrie Shaw Please, Tia came through with even more tea, but first things first, she had some things to set straight. This woman has been dealing with co-parenting drama with Rick Ross for 18 years, and at this point she is done playing games to dig up a whole bunch of mothering maggots. Right now, I'm not going to play with you, you old zick. __. Now imagine trying to raise a son while the other parent keeps pulling disappearing access, then popping back up like it's some twisted game of peekaboo. Tia's over it. She ain't just here for the flashy headlines, she's airing out all the family drama, the dirty laundry, and the receipts she's been stacking for years. And guess what? She claims Rick got more kids out here than he can even keep track of. 10 years of the back and forth. If you know people that's been around, she let it be known that Ross got some skeletons in his closet he's been keeping real quiet, like for example the fact that he allegedly had a child with a Russian woman. I'm getting that I don't need your fwang check. It wasn't even about your check, you didn't have that when I met you, so my baby wasn't a check baby. All of the 9 or 10 kids you got now, those are check babies. She got 10 kids now. Oh yeah, y'all didn't know that. See, he only had knowledge toy or whatever y'all know about, whatever y'all could Google. But girl, it's about 9 or 10, sure, but it ain't just about Ross being a dad. According to Tia, Ross is more focused on flexing his power and ego than actually stepping up for his kids. She told Young Miami about the time Ross tried to ship their son off to some random college in Mississippi just so he could be closer to his grandma. Talking about Drake, girl, he got one that looked just like Drake from a Russian woman. I can't wait till he put that one out there. What you wait, no BB exactly. Tia also opens up about the struggles of raising a kid in the spotlight. Her son is off at an HBCU now, and she paints a heartbreaking picture of him having to explain to his classmates why his own dad didn't show up to his high school graduation. This is a kid who had Ross hyping him up at football games, but when it came to one of the biggest milestones of his life, Ross was nowhere to be found. You imagine having a parent that's been in and out, being supportive at one point and not being supportive, and you just in the middle of things. You have done nothing regardless of what me and Ross issues are. He's not supposed to take that out on my son, and for years he has been using Lee as a scapegoat cause he know that's the only thing can hurt. Tia ain't holding back about how much this hurt her and their son, but what really frustrates her is how Ross seems to treat their child like a pawn in their never-ending drama. And don't even get her started on Ross's sister Renee. If you thought the beef with Ross was messy, Tia got a whole separate pile of shade ready just for Renee. That was dear you out the past couple years of his high school football games. Why you couldn't make it to his high school graduation? You could have stood on the other side of the auditorium, and you think that was because of you. Of course you know it's to trigger me in some certain way, make him feel a certain way. Apparently Renee has been all up in Tia and Ross's business since day one, and let's be real, Tia got zero respect for her. She doesn't bite her tongue either, breaking down exactly why she got a problem with Renee. Renee is in the middle of everything cause she do everything for Will, so we'll listen to a lot of things that Renee says. You get what I'm saying? Renee is a bitter person because she's never had a man to not do anything. Tia also spills on a time she got into it with one of Ross's other baby mamas, and she let her have it. Then she gets real about the pressure she's been under for years to keep quiet just to keep the peace. But after 18 years, yeah, she's done biting her tongue. She's always been in our business and just not happy for her brother, and I just don't have no respect for that. You know, she know what I have done for her brother, and I've been there. You know, it's not about money, fame, or any of that. She knows that her brother has a heart for me, and she can't take that cause a man has never did what her brother is doing for other women. She also let it slip that Ross was trying to shut her up with cease and desist letters threatening legal action if she didn't stop talking. But Tia, she doesn't care. She basically told Ross to take those legal threats and shove them. Ross tried to clap back, but at this point the damage was already done. The internet was connecting the dots, and it was looking real bad for him. People started asking questions. Was there more to Ross's past than we ever knew? Was he hiding something darker? Did 50 Cent actually win this beef, or did Ross somehow manage to survive all the humiliation? And most importantly, why is Ross so scared of 50? What does 50 know that we don't? Well, trust the story is far from over. If you thought this was wild, just wait till you hear what's coming in our next video.